Do you ever meet people who seem to have such drastically different priorities than you in life, whether it's they invest all their time into their career, or they seem to not care at all about their relationships, or they invest all their time in spending it with family, and it makes you wonder, what causes this? Why do you put all your focus on this area of life? Why does this area of life seem so important to you? It could be very well because of astrology, because in astrology, there's a concept of empty houses and full houses that indicate to us what our priorities are. So in today's video, I want to share with you what exactly empty houses are and how this can help you understand your priorities in life and why they're so drastically different from everyone else's. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabel, your spiritual rebel friend. And today I wanted to take a quick moment amidst all this very longer form, more in-depth transit education content that I've been creating to talk about empty houses, because this is something I so unconsciously, habitually do in all of my readings, something that I take into account with family members and friends. That is actually a very big piece of astrology. And I want to show you kind of how you can start to interpret this, and also why this can be so important for self-awareness and self-understanding, which is empty houses. And so in today's video specifically, I want to cover what exactly the houses are as a recap, what an empty house is, how to identify empty houses in a chart, and why this plays such a big role on personal fulfillment, because really the houses are one of the two major pieces of astrology, the other being the zodiac signs. Of course, the planets influence this, but empty houses really are key to understanding other people and understanding different perspectives on life. They play such an unconscious role. And so I wanted to talk about this today for those who are wanting to read charts better, and also for those who are just seeking self-understanding. And if this is a concept that you like, you want to go into more understanding your priorities in life based off of this empty houses versus full house system, I invite you to book a reading down in the description box below. And because I want to keep this video relatively short today, I will not be doing my usual video overlays and summaries. But if you found this video helpful and you want me to elaborate, give you summaries, and go a little more in depth, please comment below and I will create a follow-up video that is more organized talking about this more. So first off, what are the houses? If you do not know, if you're an astrology beginner, if you put in your birth information to any form of online digital birth chart system, if you've ever pulled your birth chart, it asks for your time of birth. The time of birth, therefore, gives you on your birth chart wheel what looks like pieces of a pie. If you've ever pulled your chart and you've seen it cut up into what looks like wedges, then you've seen what the houses are. If you know your rising sign, you know what the houses are, because the houses dictate what your rising sign is, and vice versa, your rising sign dictates what your houses are. The houses are the second half of the parts that create up your birth chart. There is, of course, the planets, which we all have. That is what astrology is, the study of the planets in the zodiac signs. The zodiac signs, therefore, are the first part, I like to call, of astrology. So you have, for example, a rising in Pisces. That is the sign. Or you have a moon in Gemini. That's the sign. But the second half is the houses. And those are those wedges that you see in your chart. And the houses are the areas of your life. So if you know your time of birth, you have all these 12 houses in your chart. These are the 12 different areas of our life, and they were, so to say, built off of each zodiac sign to represent what they value. But the concept also goes that even if you don't know your time of birth, every single person has these 12 areas of life that we all hypothetically need for fulfillment. So there's the first house, identity, there's our self-worth, there's our daily network, there's our home, there's our passions and romance, there's our work habits, health habits, there's our relationships, our intimate codependent relationships, which is different, our personal beliefs and travels, our career, our purpose and community, and our unconscious beliefs in inner work, solitude, time. Those are the 12 houses in order, 1 through 12. But if you're reading a chart based off of your place of birth, time of birth, when you're born, simply put, the stars were in a different position. And most of the time, people will have what is called an empty house in their chart. So if you're looking at a birth chart wheel and you're seeing those wedges and you see that there's no symbols in one of those wedges, meaning that there's no planets, no points in that house, this oftentimes raises an eyebrow and says, what does this mean? Especially when you're a newbie pulling a chart, we tend to very commonly, based off of when we're born, see, whoa, there's a lot in one spot of the chart. I hear that very commonly with a lot of the clients I work with, where it's like, hey, why is there nothing over there? Quick question, why is it so chaotic over here? And this is just based off of how basically your chart gets spun based off your time of birth, based off of your rising sign, based off the houses. So it's very likely that you have what is called an empty house in your chart, which means that there's no planets, no points in that house. So let's just say you're looking at the first house, which is where your ascendant is, and you're seeing that there's no sun, no moon, no Chiron, nothing there. This is what we call an empty house. And people oftentimes see, like I said, this importance, like, that seems weird that there's everything over here or that there's nothing there. What does that mean? And so an empty house in your chart tells you that that is an area of your life that flies up by the radar, flies under the radar, is on the down low, is not much of a priority. Now, quick disclaimer, I say not much of a priority. It's important to note that the 12 houses remind us that we do need a sense of fulfillment and focus on all these 12 areas of our life. But when we have a house that is empty, this is an area of our life that requires less focus, requires less attention, and frankly, gives us less fulfillment. So let's say you have no planets in the 10th house, which I believe is actually me in this case. But I'd have to double check my chart because it's been a while since I've actually looked at my own chart. And I've been looking at all my other clients instead. And so let's just say you're someone who has an empty 10th house. It's not that you will never have a career, as the 10th house is the house of career. It's not that you don't like a career. It just means that your career is something you don't want to put much attention into. It's not something you overthink. It's not something that you think, I need to have the perfect career to have fulfillment. Now, on the other hand, to contrast, let's say you had an empty 10th house, but maybe you planets in your 7th house. This is a person who really prioritizes their relationships in their life. Or let's say in another interpretation, you had a lot of planets like I talked about recently in your 3rd house and nothing in your 9th house. This is someone who really values having a daily social network, who values having a daily community, people who they're known by. They want to cultivate their daily life, the grocery stores, the breweries. They want to have a very close-knit bubble. They don't care to travel the world. They don't necessarily prioritize heavily their personal beliefs. So with the houses, we do need all these 12 areas of life, but when you have an empty house, that area of life becomes less of a priority. And then contrarily, if you have what is a full house, if you have a lot of planets in a certain house, or important, as I would call planets in a certain house, this is an area of life that becomes a high priority. So when I personally say important house, I'm mainly thinking of the moon sign. For example, that's usually the one I mainly look at, especially for clients, regardless of their career astrology, relationship astrology. I do tend to instantly note the house that their moon is in, because this tells me that at the end of the day, no matter what they do, that is the area of life they want to focus on. I tend to have a lot of clients with their moon in 6th and 7th house though, so it is very intriguing. These are people who at the end of the day, they want a relationship, or at the end of the day, they want to feel like they have a routine. It's not always the case, but point being, your moon could be a very important house to note what it's in. Your sun could be. Your north and south node are going to play a strong role. Your Mars in your Venus could be important as well. Depends on what planetary energy you feel most called to, and again, a level of chart interpretation. I'd have to look at your chart to know the whole story. But let's just say you have a stellium. Let's just say you have 5+ planets. You're seeing a bunch of planets in one house of your chart. That is an area of life where you may tend to over prioritize and overthink. An example, I work with a client today actually who has a lot of planets in her 5th house. I believe it's her Mercury, Venus, Mars, and I want to say Jupiter and her part of fortune. but I know for sure Mercury, Venus, Mars, I think she has a stellium in Aries in her 5th house. And talking to her, we were discussing today how much it's important for her to have creativity in her life, and that she needs stability to have creativity. It's almost this idea that, well, once I get a career, yeah, I'll have a career's fulfilling, but then I have creative time finally. It's the end all goal, it feels like, in many ways for her. And we could see how in her life, as wanting to be a musician, creativity is so important to her. Creativity is going to be a priority. It's where the most of her energy is going to want to be channeled. Think of each planet in your chart as like a battery. If you have multiple batteries in one area of your chart, that's where most of your energy is going to want to be directed. That's where it flows, so to say. I wish I was better at my metaphors for this. I was listening to a human design YouTuber, and she gives really great metaphors to describe the environments and so much more in human design, but I haven't thought through my metaphors just yet. So point being, empty houses are areas of life that are less of a priority. They get to fly under the radar. It's not that you don't care about this area of life at all. You just say, okay, cool, check, done, moving on. Now this area of life, that is the full houses. The houses in your chart that have the most planets, or even where your moon sign simply, or the core parts of your personality reside. And so one thing, for those who are wanting to be astrologers, who are reading charts, I really like to note first what houses specifically most planets and points seem to reside. Now, I do note, of course, the sign, but this tells me more characteristics, whereas house tells me priorities. And for me, as I personally try to take a life coaching approach to my astrology interpretations and astrology readings, I like to note the houses more so even than the signs, even though I do note the signs, because this tells me, okay, this is what this person wants in the end. This is most likely what this person wants. And then as we discuss it, we start to discover, yes, I just wish I had more time for myself. I just wish I had more financial security. I wish I had more home time and a strong sense of home and a nice home. It really tells you your priorities. And looking for where those empty houses are going to tell you areas of life where they may not put as much attention or intention. They may be able to fly under the radar more and be less micromanaged, but they may also be areas of life that stay more stable. I do tend to notice it's this idea that when we have energies in certain houses, these are areas of life that are priority, but we can overcharge. We can overuse, so to say. In the end, astrology reminds us with the 12 houses that we need these 12 areas of life. So for my readers out there, try noting, take your chart, take other people's charts, your friends' charts, your family's charts, and notice, what do you think this person's priorities in life are based off of what houses seem to have the most planets in them? And not only is this information really good for those who are aspiring to be astrologers, those also who are aspiring to understand themselves fully, looking at your own chart and asking yourself, what are my priorities in life? What do I think my priorities are? And then what does astrology say my priorities are? Compare and contrast. It's not to say that astrology has to be right, but observing what your unconscious priorities may be can be extremely helpful for self-awareness. I know for me, understanding that I have my Mars and my Venus in my 6th house really gave me clarity and understanding that, wow, I need routine and stability so much more than I thought, which was contrary to everything I heard as being an Aries sun and a Sagittarius rising. So this is where the houses can be really insightful because it helps us get out of those stereotypical interpretations. And third and finally, not only is this concept of empty and full houses helpful for those being readers, helpful for those who want to understand themselves, it's also really helpful in understanding others, even just as a conceptual basis. I try to really interact with people, and it really helps me to keep this concept in mind and say, what if your priorities are different than mine? In one general example, my sister, who I spend a lot of time with, we've gotten a bit more distant over the last year, not because we hold any hard feelings to each other, but just distance physically, being in different areas of the world, and also just different interests. Additionally, my moon is in my 7th house, whereas her moon is in her 10th house. And so I know that really we just have different priorities in many ways regarding what we want in life. At the end of the day, I really just want soft connections as a Cancer 7th house moon. And she wants to have fun recognition and career success as a moon in Leo in 10th house. And so keeping these differences in mind, it really helps us understand one another and practice empathy, because our energetic imprint plays a huge role, hypothetically, on what our priorities are. Where people have more energetic focus in their chart is where they're going to put their energetic focus in life. So let me know down in the comments below, what houses are empty in your chart? What houses seem to have the most energy in your chart? Do you notice these are your general priorities in life? Are your empty houses areas of life that you don't feel like you have to overthink? Do you feel like, oh yeah, that's just there. I get to just leave that casually existing in my life rather than having to always focus on it. Again, this doesn't mean that we never put intention or attention on every area of life. That's what the transits always remind us. But this concept can really help you as a starting point understand what makes you unique in your priorities and values. So let me know if this resonated for you down in the comments below. Let me know if this was understandable, or if you'd like me to do another video in depth with more visuals, understanding how to see what an empty house looks like in your chart and how to understand what full houses look like in a chart. Drop your comments down below. Please let me know what other questions you have. The more questions you give me, the easier it is for me to create content. So my Virgos out there who love to give me bulleted lists and typo editing, please comment your bulleted lists of what you want me to cover down in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars and more. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed. If you want to go deeper into your chart, book a reading down below. Once again, my name's Isabel. From my heart to yours, namaste.